Imagine waking up tomorrow in a world where the temperature is colder than the freezer in your kitchen. There are no houses, no electricity, no supermarkets, no warm blankets. Every breath burns your lungs, and every step through the snow steals the little energy your body has left. Around you, giant predators roam the frozen wilderness, while hunger follows you every single day. Now ask yourself one question. How long would you survive? A week? 3 days? Or just one freezing night? Surprisingly, our ancestors lived in this terrifying world for thousands of years. They faced impossible odds, yet they survived and changed the future of humanity forever. This is the remarkable true story of how ordinary people overcame the harshest climate our species has ever known. Around 20,000 years ago, during the peak of the last ice age, much of North America and Northern Europe lay beneath enormous sheets of ice that stretched for hundreds of miles. Winters were longer, colder, and far more dangerous than anything most people experience today. Grasslands replaced forests across many regions, and food became incredibly difficult to find. Survival depended on constant movement, careful planning, and the ability to adapt to an environment that never showed mercy. Every sunrise brought a new challenge, and every sunset was a reminder that another freezing night had to be endured. The Ice Age was not simply a cold season. It was a relentless struggle against nature itself. The greatest enemy was not always the cold. It was hunger. The human body needs enormous amounts of energy just to stay warm in freezing temperatures. That meant ancient hunters could not afford to waste any part of an animal they managed to catch. Archaeologists have found evidence showing that mammoths, bison, reindeer, and horses were carefully butchered. Meat provided protein, but fat was even more valuable because it contained the calories needed to survive the bitter cold. Bones were broken open to collect nutritious marrow hidden inside. Skin became clothing, tendons became thread, and antlers became tools. Every successful hunt meant another chance to live a little longer. Unfortunately, hunting was never guaranteed. Herds migrated over vast distances, storms could last for days, and failed hunts often meant entire families went hungry. During especially difficult periods, evidence from several archaeological sites suggests that some human groups practiced cannibalism. Scientists continue to debate exactly why these events occurred. In some places, the evidence points toward desperate survival during famine. In others, researchers believe it may have been connected to cultural or funeral traditions rather than violence. Whatever the reason, these discoveries remind us just how extreme Ice Age life could become when food disappeared and survival became the only priority. Cold weather demanded more than courage. It required innovation. Long before metal tools existed, humans developed surprisingly advanced technology using stone, bone, ivory, and animal hides. Bone needles allowed them to sew tightly fitted clothing that trapped body heat far better than loose animal skins. Layers of fur created natural insulation, while waterproof boots protected their feet from snow and frozen ground. Some groups even built shelters using mammoth bones covered with hides, creating sturdy homes capable of withstanding fierce winter winds. These inventions were not simple accidents. They were the result of generations of observation, experimentation, and shared knowledge. Fire became the center of every camp. It provided warmth, cooked food, hardened wooden tools, melted snow into drinking water, and frightened away dangerous animals. Without fire, survival during the Ice Age became almost impossible. Researchers believe many groups carefully protected glowing embers while traveling so they could quickly restart a fire at their next campsite. Losing a fire during a snowstorm could place an entire family in deadly danger. Fire also created something equally important: hope. At night, as darkness covered the frozen landscape, people gathered around the flames, sharing food, planning hunts, repairing tools, and strengthening the bonds that held their communities together. Even with fire, humans were far from being the rulers of the Ice Age world. They shared the landscape with enormous predators. Cave lions, wolves, cave bears, and giant hyenas hunted across the same plains where humans searched for food. Unlike today, people were often the ones being hunted. A single mistake could become fatal. This constant danger encouraged cooperation. Hunting parties worked together, adults protected children, and communities stayed alert to signs of nearby predators. Teamwork was no longer a choice. It became one of humanity's greatest survival strategies. Scientists have also discovered that Ice Age people cared deeply for one another. Excavations have uncovered skeletons of individuals who survived serious injuries, including broken bones that healed completely. These people could not have hunted or gathered food on their own for months. Someone had to feed them, protect them, and help them recover. This evidence reveals a powerful truth about early humans. Survival was not achieved by the strongest individual. It depended on compassion, cooperation, and the willingness to care for those who could not care for themselves. Those social bonds may have been just as important as any weapon ever invented. The Ice Age was also a time of remarkable human movement. Small groups traveled across vast landscapes following migrating animals and seasonal resources. Archaeologists have found stone tools made from materials carried hundreds of miles from their original source. This suggests that different groups met, exchanged resources, shared ideas, or traded valuable materials. Knowledge spread from one community to another, allowing new hunting techniques, tool designs, and survival skills to travel much farther than any single family ever could. In many ways, these ancient connections became the first networks that strengthened human resilience. While modern humans expanded across the world, another human species, the Neanderthals, was nearing the end of its journey. For hundreds of thousands of years, Neanderthals had survived harsh Ice Age climates across Europe and parts of Asia. They were skilled hunters, intelligent toolmakers, and cared for injured members of their communities. Today, scientists believe their disappearance was likely caused by several factors working together, including changing climates, shrinking populations, competition for resources, and interbreeding with modern humans. Rather than a simple story of one species defeating another, it appears to have been a complex chapter in human evolution shaped by environmental change and survival. Surviving the Ice Age required more than strong bodies. It demanded strong minds. During long winters, people gathered around fires where stories became powerful tools for survival. Elders taught younger generations which animals were dangerous, where rivers froze safely, how seasons changed, and where food could be found when winter became severe. These stories carried practical knowledge across generations long before writing existed. They also gave people comfort, identity, and hope during months of darkness and uncertainty. Many anthropologists believe storytelling played an important role in preserving information that helped communities survive for thousands of years. Although the Ice Age ended around 11,700 years ago, its influence may still live inside us today. Many psychologists and evolutionary researchers suggest that certain human behaviors were shaped by countless generations of survival under dangerous conditions. Our natural attraction to the warmth of a campfire, our instinctive caution in darkness, and our tendency to seek safety within groups may all reflect ancient adaptations that once increased our ancestors' chances of survival. While not every modern behavior can be traced directly to the Ice Age, there is little doubt that this frozen chapter of history left a lasting mark on the human story. The real lesson of the Ice Age is not about fear, it is about resilience. Our ancestors survived one of the harshest environments Earth has ever produced, not because they were fearless, but because they learned, adapted, and worked together. They turned animal bones into homes, hides into warm clothing, fire into protection, and knowledge into the greatest survival tool of all. Every challenge forced them to become more creative, more cooperative, and more determined. Their victories over hunger, cold, and danger shaped the future of our species. The next time you sit beside a warm fire on a cold evening, remember this. Thousands of generations before you watched the very same flames with exactly the same hope. Those fires carried humanity through the longest winter our species ever faced. And because they endured, we are here today.